So joining us now on the Circle in Rectangle show, we have young Macarthur Bulls, I'd say superstar, maybe a bit premature, but I think he's got a huge future for him at Macarthur Bulls. We've got Michael Ruhs joining us. How you going, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the show, Michael. Not a lot of information about you, as you are pretty much straight out of high school into a professional contract. So what was your youth like? I think Mounties Wanderers straight into Sydney United. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so started my NPL journey through Mountie Wanderers. Came there straight out of park soccer. Played there for 2 years with a couple of mates. Didn't really expect much of it, but as it went on, started enjoying it a bit more. And then eventually Sydney United came and wanted me to come trial. So I went and tried at Sydney United. Obviously played there for the next 6 years. And now I'm here at Macarthur.
That's really good. So so obviously, what age did you kind of think, oh, this could really go somewhere?
Oh, well, from a young age, I was always wanted to be a football player, but probably about 13, 14 is really when it started to kick in, where I gained more of my confidence, and people started talking about me and telling me I've got great potential. So I think that's when it really started to hit me that maybe this can be a career for me.
So you would have been at Sydney United when Mark Rudin was the coach of the first team.
Yeah.
Did he have any impact on the way you sort of developed as a young footballer, or was it strictly your coaches as you came up through the ages?
Yeah, well, obviously, Mark Rudin being the first team coach there when I was probably around 15, maybe I think it was, or 14, it made me just inspire to be in that team and give me that extra drive to want to be under a coach like him. So that was really the main impact Roots had on me to really strive to be a first team player.
Nice.
So yeah, with the Sydney United for 6 years, I think you said it was. In New South Wales NPL runners-up in 2019, and then you went one step further in 2020.
Yeah.
What was that like, winning a title?
Yeah, it was amazing, really. We worked hard all pre-season. We trained hard all year, really. We had a great coaching staff under Joko Kalatz. So he really drilled into us that winning mentality, and at the end of the season we came out, put in a performance, and it was good to bring the trophy home.
Nice.
Yeah, so good performances with the Sydney United, pretty much led into the 2019 Under-17s World Cup squad. Well, can you explain the feeling of getting that call up saying that you're in the team and you're going to Brazil?
Yeah, so I actually got that call when I was in England trialling for Crystal Palace. So I probably stayed up all night, I think until 4 o'clock in the morning, just waiting for an email to come through. And as soon as that email come through, I was just almost in tears, really. I was working towards that goal for my whole life, basically. The national team and wanting to be on the big stage, and getting that World Cup call-up was probably one of the best days of my life.
That's always good. Who was the first person you called, mum or dad?
Oh, I caught them both. I chucked them into a court together. Yeah.
What was the trip in general like? Like just being around the boys in the squad, different country, a World Cup,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could imagine for a 17-year-old kid traveling to Brazil for football, expenses paid is just unbelievable. You're doing something you love, traveling the world, and obviously to see that culture and that side of football in Brazil and in South America, playing on the biggest stage an under-17 player can play in, just really made you realise how grateful you have to be for the opportunities you've been given. And it was just unbelievable. We spent 35 days there, and it's probably one of the best 35 days of my life that I'll never forget.
Nice. So you mentioned at Sydney United you played under Zeljko Kalac.
Yeah.
He's obviously a pretty good motivator because he's pretty passionate when he speaks. I saw him a lot when he was at Sydney FC. Yeah. What was he like kind of as a young player coming through and developing?
Yeah, well, obviously he had a big effect on me. I was the youngest player in the squad probably by about 5 years. So that just having that there was a bit intimidating that everyone else was older than me and I'm playing in an NPL first team. But for him to come in and really try to bring me up into the squad and make me comfortable in the change room and really try to get the best out of me and help the team as best as I could, it really motivated me to keep striving to do what I'm doing, knowing that I have a part in the first team and I'm not just a young boy training, but I can really help the team out throughout the season.
Nice.
Yeah, really showed that you weren't just a player on the roster with a late winner against North Shore Mariners.
Yeah.
Screamer.
Very good 1-2, winning the ball back and then a 1-2 play. But now you've moved on. You moved on from Sydney United, and now you're an A-League player.
Yeah.
What's that like? What was that conversation like? Getting your first contract to become a Macarthur FC player, the inaugural squad.
Yeah, well, like you said, inaugural squad is always a big thing coming into the A-League, being the first team, really. But, getting that contract really, like I've been saying, really motivated me to keep striving to be better and better. As soon as I got that contract, I felt like this was my time to show everyone who I am and what I'm about, to be able to play on TV and just really train every single day, training with some of the best players around Australia. That was probably the best feeling for me, to be able to sign that contract and know that this is where I'm at now. This is how far I've made it, and there's still plenty more to go.
And, to make your debut at home, off the bench, I can only imagine how good a feeling that must have been.
Yeah, the feeling of coming on at Campbelltown was something that I've imagined for a year, ever since the Macarthur team got announced that it was coming in. Always dreamt about playing on that big stage in Campbelltown in front of the home fans, and ultimately I got to make my debut there, listening to all the cowbells ring. Had all my mates and family there, which was even better. So
yeah,
there was probably nothing better than that feeling than walking on that pitch and making my A-League debut.
You did mention the cowbells. How is that like for a player? Because it does create kind of a unique atmosphere in world football.
Yeah, the cowbells, you never heard of them before in football, yeah. But it's something different. It brings a bit of atmosphere to the stadium. Since we can't have all the fans there, it really makes the fans heard, and you can hear them when you're on the field. So it gives you that extra motivation, knowing that the team's kicking you on and hoping that you guys do the best, and hopefully we can win a couple games there at home now. So
yeah, Campbelltown really hasn't been the greatest for Macarthur Bulls at the moment. You do travel well, but
yeah,
home's not really the fortress it needs to be.
Yeah, hopefully at home we can start picking up a couple points, a couple wins, and really making that a fortress where teams know when they come to Campbelltown, then it's not going to be an easy game and they're going to get a run for their money.
And Brisbane,
absolutely. I mean, my son and I are foundation members, so we have those cowbells. We live in Armidale, so it's a little hard to get down to Campbelltown for a game, but I can't wait to one day hopefully take him there, and hopefully they still use them. So looking at that Macarthur squad, obviously some massive names in the squad, not just Australians like Mark Milligan, but you've got the likes of Benat, Susayeta, he's come in. What are those guys like at training? How are they as professional as you can imagine from where they've come, or do they sort of they probably don't slack back, but they are not as intense as some of the other boys?
Nah, still they're phenomenal, really. Very well disciplined. They came here to do a job. That's their job, really, to play football. So they come in with an attitude that really motivates everyone and inspires everyone to, even though they're older and might have a couple more years left in them, they're trying to show that this is what it takes to be a big footballer and play on a big stage and have these games underneath your belt. And it's really good to see, because for young players coming through, it might be a bit hard to get motivated or stay motivated when you're only training and sometimes not playing. But when you see these big players like Milligan playing in 4 World Cups or Bernat playing 400 La Liga games, it really gives you something to look up to and inspire to become.
That's always good. Yeah, with those boys coming in, and you guys have come off to a really in and out start kind of thing, getting a few wins here and then a few losses there.
Yeah.
What was Milicic's season's hopes for? What's he want from the boys?
Oh, well, obviously the undeniable thing is we want to try to get to the final, hopefully win as many games as we can, put on a show for everyone that was watching, and really cement our names in the league from the start. Milicic has a great philosophy on football and how we can win games and go out there and play good football. So ultimately it just comes down to us on game day and putting that result on the board and hopefully picking up 3 points every single weekend.
You certainly set you guys up well. The way you guys play going forward, like from the first game, you just didn't take a backward step, just front foot forward, completely the whole game dominated. So it's actually entertaining to see. I guess you guys are trying to do one better than the Wanderers in their first season and not just get to the final, but go all the way and win it.
Exactly, yeah.
That's still
With the first goal that the Bulls scored at home, was there a little bit of banter in the dressing room after the game or a training between Milligan and Bernard about, he kind of stole the goal away from Bernard?
Well, Milligan didn't even know that it hit his back after it happened, yeah. So no one knew until we walked into the change room and it came down as Milligan's goal. So obviously he claimed that, and Bernard wasn't upset about it because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and as long as we got that 3 points, then that's all that matters.
Exactly. Nice.
So the real question is, though, when Michael Ruhs scores his first A-League goal, what's the celebration going to be? Have you thought of it yet?
About this, I've been thinking about this for so long, really. I think it would just probably be either straight to my family or maybe to the camera and give like a shoulder shrug or something like that. Yeah.
No, not going to run away, shush and dab in the away fence?
No.
No, that's always got to be the show, isn't it?
Maybe if we're playing against Wanderers in a derby match or something.
No,
So my next question was going to be, what derby is more important, the Wanderers one or the one against Sydney FC? But I think you just answered it.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm growing up in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
So it's always good. Like you watch them on TV and you see that now that you get to play against them, you find that you've got Macarthur now. You wear the shirt, you wear it with pride. So at the end of the day, Macarthur's where my heart lies. So scoring against Wanderers will be a good feeling.
Nice. I can't disagree with that.
That hurts a little, but that's okay. Professionals here. So that's Michael Ruhs, the footballer. What about Michael Ruhs, the bloke? When you were growing up watching the sport, favourite team?
Oh, in all over the world?
Football.
Yeah.
Has to be Chelsea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's right. At least he didn't say United.
Yeah. No United, Liverpool, Chelsea since the start, really.
Nice. So growing up, hard to pick who your favourite Chelsea player would be. There were so many greats, like that sort of 2010 period into like the 2018. So
Yeah.
any in particular, or is it just Frank Lampard?
Probably either Torres or Drogba.
Oh, yeah.
Looking
Oh,
after the
nice.
striker. And I remember watching the Champions League grand final where Torres took it around the keeper, or the semi-final where Torres took it around the keeper and scored. And I was screaming and running around the house. I was just so happy. But yeah, probably them two I look up to in the Chelsea squad. But ultimately, the one player I looked up to probably around the world had to be Gareth Bale. He was probably my favourite player. Watching him at Madrid, and I found I had some qualities to him. Obviously, not as good of a player he is yet, but the pace, the finishing, I felt like I could draw some comparisons to him.
The real Gareth Bale
Australia's
comparison
Gareth
is how's your golf game?
Oh, terrible. If you ask my dad, he'd say I can't hit a ball, but we go to the driving range a couple of times and I'm just smacking them.
Yeah,
Hit
it's
it
just
hard,
pure
ask
strength.
questions
That's
later.
I'm the same.
Exactly.
So I guess you kind of answered my next question as well. I was going to say who you kind of based the way you play your game on, but I guess Gareth Bale.
Yeah, it has to be Gareth Bale.
Yeah, not a bad player to base it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, how do we feel about the Chelsea situation at the moment, though?
Oh, yeah.
I've been getting so much from the boys at training about it. Every single time United or Liverpool watch, and I try giving them a bit when they lose, they always tell me that Chelsea needs to go buy another $500 million worth of players, and we're fighting for relegation. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm sure with our new coach, he could probably turn something around.
No Manchester United fan can give you grief for that, all right? They cannot talk, so that's for sure.
Try.
It's a little bit rich coming from a Sheffield United fan, but that's okay. I go for Nottingham Forest, so Matt Derbyshire's a good bloke.
Nottingham's
Yes.
not a bad team.
Not a bad team, except at the moment we are a bad team and we're probably going to get relegated. So
Happens to the best of them.
it is what it is.
You're right, Sheffield United did get relegated once upon a time and will again. So looking at your playing time, haven't got a lot of minutes yet. Is there a way that Milicic is looking to sort of work you into that first team? Obviously, you're young, so there's a huge future ahead for you. But is he looking at maybe a little bit more into the season once you guys start to get your foot into the season, that you're going to increase your minutes? Because I know we were kind of both disappointed that you weren't at least on the bench for the game against Sydney FC.
Yeah, well, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm still young, and coming up now with all this COVID and borders opening, we're going to have a busy period where we're going to be playing games probably every 3 to 4 days. So hopefully that inspires a move by Milicic for me to at least be on the bench or be an impact player, so I can play a role in the squad, because ultimately it's about, you want to be in the squad and help the team out as best you can, because at the end of the day, they're your teammates, and that's what you love to do, is play in front of the crowds and really put on a show.
Nice.
Are you looking a little bit unfortunate you weren't in the matchday squad on the weekend, but probably felt really good that you weren't sitting out in the rain like I was.
I heard that there was a massive delay because of the thunderstorms. I was actually playing in Broadmeadow in the NPL that day, so I was watching on the TV as soon as our game finished.
Yeah, it was
a bit of a positive.
It was very wet.
I just had a question and I have forgotten it. No, then I'm sorry.
Comes with age, doesn't it, Jamie?
Yeah. The question was going to be, was something about obviously with the borders now opening up, you get a chance to go and play some of the other states, like your Adelaide Uniteds, Melbourne Cities, Melbourne Victory to a lesser extent, and maybe even Perth. So that must be like pretty exciting, away trips.
Yeah, exactly. Away trips with all the boys is always the best. You get that buzz going to a different state, different home ground, and just looking to cause an upset and disappoint their home fans. But it's always good to get those 3 points away as well, because when they come and play at home, they're going to have a tough match.
Yeah, nice. Is there any in particular that you're looking forward to? Because I know where Brisbane Roar now play their games, seems like a much better stadium than Suncorp.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know, to be honest. It'll probably have to be either Melbourne Victory because of the status of their club, or probably like you said, Brisbane Roar. Yeah, Brisbane Roar would be a good. New South Wales versus the Queenslanders, so that'll be a good match.
And a nice trip up to Brisbane for a couple of days never hurts.
Exactly. That's it.
Brisbane, lovely city, shocking river.
You got any more nuggets?
No, I think I'm out of questions. That should be about it. Thanks for coming on, Michael. Really appreciate the chat, and really looking forward to what you produce this season, and wish you all the best.
No problem. I hope we get you guys there at the game a couple of times there.
We absolutely
well, I'm a Macarthur lad, so I'll be to many games as I can. I think I'm going this weekend for the Derby round 2.
Perfect. I'll look out.
Hopefully we'll see you around.
Hopefully.
Yeah, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Too easy. Good luck.
No, see you later.
See ya.
See ya.